welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. Today we're looking at the Star Wars The Power of the Force C-3PO with, get this, realistic metallized body. That's the gimmick, it's paint job. Okay, so C-3PO was first seen in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. And a couple fun facts about C-3PO. He is a protocol droid with over 6 million forms of communication. His teammate or counterpart is R2-D2, and they have been in almost every Star Wars film to date. Now, C-3PO is portrayed by the actor Anthony Daniels, and he has been in every Star Wars film to date, which is August 2018, as C-3PO. Now, in Solo, he did not wear the droid costume, but he was there in person in some form. So anyway, back to the toy. This particular figure was released in 1995, and for its height, it was 3 3/4 inches tall. So like the R2-D2 review, we're going to take a quick look at the box, look at the mold, articulation, paint, compare it, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving! Alright, quickly looking at the box, we have the logo, Star Wars The Power of the Force, our figure. Very nice looking so far. Photo of the character, C-3PO, with realistic... I can't believe they sold the paint job as its gimmick. Realistic metallized body. My god. And then up here, we have the Darth Vader iconic head for the packaging. On the back, my favorite part, all the other figures in the wave, I guess you could say. Some fighters, Luke's land speeder, the Falcon. A little write-up on C-3PO. And that basically does it. So now let's get this open and take a look at that figure. Having C-3PO out of the box, we can see it is a beautiful looking figure. Some nice molding, especially on the back. We're going to take a closer look in a couple seconds. But first, I gotta point it out, the Power of the Force line had a major problem, and it's the reason why many people don't like it. They beefed up their figures. You know, you have somebody who's scrawny and weak looking like Luke Skywalker. The action figure that we got was beefed up like He-Man, basically, in the chest. And they did it a little bit with C-3PO with his giant pecs and the muscles on the side. You know, it's just a droid, but they beefed it up a little bit. But it's not as bad as the others. So I am pretty happy with it. So let's go over the main sections of the body, and then we'll get nice and close to show off all those fine details. Alright, obviously on his head we have his eyes, his mouth. Around his neck we have his circuit breaker and sensors. Coming down to this circle thing, which I never knew what it was, but it's basically a recharging coupling. Come down, we have all his wires. And then for the arms, these beams that hold his bicep and his forearm, those are basically servo motors. Then the midsection here with all the wires, those are power cables. And then coming down to the legs, basically they're just joints and pistons and different things. Not too much on C-3PO, but I found what I could. On the bottom we have peg ports, so that's pretty cool. Very nice. I do think this figure is awesome. So let's get a closer look, see all those fine details, and then we'll take a quick look at the articulation. Now, having our closer look, I do have to admit, with this golden paint, it is making it extremely hard for me to film it, but I will do my best. Okay, for his head, you can see his eyes are molded in, his mouth is recessed. Coming around, he has that nice molding on the side of the head. Everything's there that should be. Even that little port on the back of his head. Beautiful stuff. We have his neck, his back. Beautiful detail here. I like that a lot. His shoulders. Paint's already chipping off. Oh, damn. Right here in the front, we have our sensors and circuit breakers and all that stuff. Everything's there. Beautiful. Love that neck ring as well. His Arnold pecs. His waist. Love that circle, beautiful job. And then his wires. And as you can see, they are molded in. They just paint it wherever the hell they wanted to. Not too bad, though. On the back, you can see some of the wires there. Pretty cool. Now, with this golden paint, I tried hitting it with a microfiber cloth. You know, one of these. And, I don't know, it's not really working. So I'm probably just going to put this on a shelf and never touch it again. But for his arms, Nice shoulders. Some details. Again, the paint. Ugh. Love the line work on here. For his biceps, some great details going down here. And then we have his pistons, or servos, whatever you like to call them, on the elbow and right here. The forearm is nicely done. And then one of my favorite parts, his hands, which I think are very nice. Pretty, don't want to break it underneath. You can see that they detailed it just the same. Awesome. Looking at his crotch section, I guess we could call it. Some nice molding here. And on C-3PO butt, nice line work. Copyright crap on his legs, beautiful work. Just look at all these nice details coming down to the knees. And his calves. Excellent job. Really it is. And I love the knees on C-3PO. Again, paint chip. Damn it. And on the sides, beautiful. Really an excellent looking figure. And on the bottom there is peg ports. Now technically, this figure is almost 30 years old. However, the joints on here are very tight. So I'm going to be careful. He has 6 points of articulation. The head can rotate all the way around. The arms can rotate all the way around, which is nice. He has a swivel at the waist, which can spin 360. And then the legs can go forward. And they really can't go that back, but that's as far as they can go. Regardless, beautiful articulation for a nice looking figure. And that's everything I have to say about the mold of C-3PO. For 1995, there is a lot of detail in here. Some I never even knew existed, like the wires that are molded in his midsection. Amazing stuff. So now, let's take a look at the paint. When it comes to the paint of C-3PO, I think they did a decent job. First of all, we have this nice, realistic, golden mirrored paint. And it is fantastic. It reflects everything. Beautiful job. However, I don't know if it's because it's an old figure, the paint is chipping off on the knee right here and on the shoulder. So if you guys get one of these, don't touch him too much. When I'm done with this, he's going on the shelf with R2-D2, and that is it. It really hurts me. It really does to see something start to chip like that. Ugh. But anyway, besides that beautiful paint job with the gold, we do have black for the midsection with blue and red wires, which are painted on. And then on the back, nothing really there. The wires are molded, but there's no paint. Just paint in the front. So regardless, beautiful paint job. I think it's decent. Not too much they could have done with this for the time period. I think they did an excellent job. Now, there is another version of C-3PO that I'm after, which is based on the episode 4 version when he's all dirtied and beat up on Tatooine. That one I'm looking for because the paint apps are amazing on it. But regardless, I still think this is a great figure and a beautiful representation of its on-screen appearance. Alright, for a quick size comparison with the Power of the Force C-3PO, we have it next to the Power of the Force R2-D2. On the right-hand side, we have the Black Series 6-inch C-3PO. I believe this one was a Walgreens exclusive with the silver leg. Pretty nice figure. And finally, on the left-hand side, for all you Venture Brother fans, we have Hank Venture and Brock Samson. Awesome figures all around. Some great stuff here. And that does it today for my review of the Star Wars Power of the Force C-3PO, a magnificent looking figure. It was first seen in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope, and for its height, it's 3 3/4 inches tall, which is pretty good. Now yes, right here in the final image, I do have it right next to the Power of the Force R2-D2, and they go well together. Now I always liked C-3PO, and as a kid, my dad would give me just videotapes to watch, and one of those videotapes was the movie Metropolis. Now, as a child, I never understood it. It was a silent old film that really dealt with politics and social issues, but the one thing I always skipped to was the robot Maria. She looked a little like C-3PO, and when I found out years later that the robot from Metropolis was the inspiration for C-3PO, my mind was blown. But I do have to say, if you're into film, science fiction, or film history, check out the silent film Metropolis. So back to the toy. Is the power of the Force C-3PO worth it? I absolutely think it is. First of all, the mold is magnificent. As we saw, every little line and recess, little servo is there, even the wires in the midsection. A beautiful job. Now the paint, it's 50-50. Just by opening this up and moving it, I seem to have little chips here and there. It really sucks, but the thing is, how they do this paint job, that is what you're gonna get. It is gonna flake off. That's just how it works. So maybe in the future I'll buy another one, who knows, but this is probably how I'm gonna have them displayed on my shelf, so I'm not too worried about it. But if you do plan on buying one of these and fiddling around with it every so often, you are gonna have some major flakage here, if we could call it that. Now, you don't get any accessories. However, this figure has 6 points of articulation, and that is great. And you can't forget the peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So if you're looking to buy this, I recommend going to hobby shops, old toy stores, check your eBay and Amazons. Usually you could get these cheap. Prices, however, do vary. So I recommend this for anybody who's a fan of C-3PO, the Power of the Force line, or droids in general. So that's everything I have to say about this droid today. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, hit that like button. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody!